the Black Critic Guy, and welcome to the first Why I Won't Watch segment of the new year. I was supposed to have one for you in January, but there's a long story about that. Just go check out my food for thought in January. It explains the whole thing. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel and don't know much about the Why I Won't Watch segment, it's basically a segment I created that details why I don't want to watch a certain movie, TV show, or anime. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the movie, TV show, or anime that I mentioned on our Why I Won't Watch segment is bad per se. I mean, some of them are bad, but others are just films, TV show, or animes that I'm personally not interested in seeing, thus I don't want to watch them. For all I know, that One Direction documentary could have been a good documentary, but since it doesn't appeal to me and I'm not a big fan of One Direction, I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch it. But enough babbling about the Why I Won't Watch segments of the past, let's get to this one. And since we're in the month of February, I couldn't have picked a better movie to not want to watch than Valentine's Day, directed by Gary Marshall and starring every big name actor in 2010. Now, many of you may not be familiar with the name Gary Marshall, but you may be familiar with his work. He has directed such films as Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, the Princess Diary films, and many other films, including New Year's Eve, which we will get to in a little bit. And one thing that really surprised me is that he was the creator of Happy Days. Wow. I mean, I just recently found that out, and that really surprised me. The guy who directed Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve was the same guy that created one of the greatest TV shows ever made, starring one of the greatest characters ever made, Fonzie. Hey! But besides all the good works that he's given us, he's also given us a few duds. One of them being Valentine's Day. I remember seeing the trailers for Valentine's Day back in 2010 with all these big name actors in the movie. It's gonna be the big movie of the year, and I was just like, not really into that, and I never saw it, ever. Which is weird considering I'm a big fan of romantic comedies, so you would think I would be running to the theaters to go see this, but I wasn't that excited to see it at all. One of the biggest reasons as to why I didn't want to watch Valentine's Day when it first came out was because it reminded me too much of another film that came out exactly 1 year before it called She's Just Not That Into You. Remember that film? It was also a big ensemble cast romantic comedy starring these big name actors and their love stories and how they intertwine with each other. It just felt like Valentine's Day was a copy and paste version of that movie, except this time it actually took place on Valentine's Day. And personally, I was actually looking forward to She's Just Not That Into You. I went to go see it when it first came out, and I thought it would be a very interesting romantic comedy ensemble story, and I was very disappointed by it for the fact that I really didn't care about any of the love stories. There were so many love stories in the movie that I honestly didn't give a damn about any one of them because they never took the time to develop any of them. They never took the time to develop any of the characters to make you care about them. And I had a sneaking suspicion that Valentine's Day would do the exact same thing. Now, of course, I've never seen the movie, so it might not be exactly like that, but I did see Gary Marshall's follow-up to Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, which a lot of people said was exactly like Valentine's Day. And in that movie, I didn't like it. I didn't care about any of the characters. I felt like they were all wooden and weak and their stories were uninteresting. So if New Year's Eve is very similar to Valentine's Day, why would I even watch it then? And since we're talking about weak story and characters, let's get to my second reason as to why I don't want to watch Valentine's Day. And that is that I felt like Valentine's Day would be full, chock full of some of the most cliche copy-paste love stories ever put on film. Any love story you've ever seen in a romantic comedy before is probably in Valentine's Day. And for those of you who have seen the film, am I right? I mean, even in the trailer, some of the love stories just look so damn obvious and cliche. You know exactly how everything's gonna go down just by watching the trailer. I mean, the fucking film is called Valentine's Day. I doubt anybody really went through a heartbreak in this movie. Everything just turned out nice and peachy keen and everybody's happy, right? Not only that, but when you put a lot of characters in a film like this, the value of a character diminishes because you give us all these characters, each one of which aren't that well developed and aren't that interesting, to the point where you're not going to care about any one of them. As a whole, I felt like there wasn't a single ounce of originality or effort put into the story or the characters in this film. Which now leads me into my third and last reason as to why I don't want to watch this film. I personally feel like that there was no passion put into the making of this film, which is really sad because it's a film about passion. You would think that they would put passion in a film about passion. I personally felt like there was no love, effort, or thought put into the making of this film. It was just a blatant cash grab to cash in on the whole Valentine's Day craze because it is February, so hey, they're gonna want to see a love movie anyway. And not only to cash in on the whole Valentine's Day effect, but also to cash in on the actors, because since there's so many big name actors, old people are gonna rush to go see it, right? I personally felt like they could have made a Valentine's Day movie that could have a lot of heart to it, could have a lot of passion to it if they just put in the effort. I didn't see that from Valentine's Day. And those are my reasons as to why I won't watch Valentine's Day. And who knows, I could be wrong. Maybe Valentine's Day was actually a good movie and had some good stories. But from what I've heard from other people and from what I've seen from New Year's Eve and people telling me that Valentine's Day is exactly like New Year's Eve, I seriously doubt there is anything special about Valentine's Day. But I would like to know if there's anybody out there who really did like Valentine's Day and would consider it one of their favorite romantic comedies, or are there people out there who have seen Valentine's Day and felt like, oh, it's not for me, it's not that good. So be sure to comment below and let me know. And stay tuned this Friday for not only a few movie reviews that are coming your way, but also a special video for you guys. So until then, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm 21 the second, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.